acknowledge it. So throw out a topic, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, and I like that about you. And our conversations off camera and off air are always fun, and they can go on forever and ever and ever. And you like to linger a little bit as well.
I like to linger?
You don't let the conversation die. You just hang around and keep going.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
I know Dalton's told you that a couple of times.
I guess I need
I'm not saying that's a flaw.
So
I don't think that's a flaw at all. I think it's a good thing.
I'll be quieter.
No, please do not be quieter today, Olin Buchanan.
We got you covered, Richard.
I appreciate that. Olin's here for the entire first hour. We'll have Chris Landry in the 9 o'clock hour. Also speak to Randy Reyes of the Association of Former Students. Effridge Davis, G. Guerreri's going to join us in studio.
Tell people who Effridge Davis is,
so
in case they don't
Davis, know. I'm pretty sure you know who Effridge Davis is. If you don't know who she is, you've probably seen her
Google
video.
It.
She went viral over the weekend.
Yeah.
FQAD in Illinois, the meteorologist that could not contain her excitement when the Aggies knocked off the Tide on Saturday. She'll be joining us at 9:35.
A&M produces a few weather people, don't they? I don't want to call them a weatherman because she's not a.
So I didn't. I don't
like to say weather person.
I know there's a few around town, but
when I was in Tyler for years, the weatherman was from A&M.
So I cannot remember his name. I don't think when I grew up in Dallas watching WFA, I don't think any of those weather people were Aggies.
But there's a bunch.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So that's coming up at 9:35. That should be an extremely exciting interview. She's gone viral.
She is.
It'll be interesting
to
talk to somebody who's actually gone viral and been seen by millions of people worldwide. So that'll be fun. G. Guerreri will join us in studio. Then we've got Ryan Broninger for pretty much the entire 10 o'clock hour. But,
that's something to look forward to.
Oh, look. Do you really want to look at Ryan Broninger?
Well, I'm using look in the, not in a literal sense.
Mm-hmm. I understand. It should be good. We've got plenty of recruiting to talk about. A&M expected to pick up a lot of momentum thanks to a win over the weekend on the recruiting trail. Also got some baseball conversation for him. I know that'll bore you to death. But the recruiting stuff should be fun.
I'm actually interested in A&M baseball, especially now. I want to see what Schlossnagle does and the kind of guys they're bringing in. It has piqued my interest. I'm not saying that I'm going to be at every game.
No, but you've already told me. You told me months ago that I can expect you to sit next to me in the press box on opening night.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
The first game of Schlossnagle era.
There's a lot of excitement surrounding that program. There's a lot of excitement.
Well, it's the second most popular sports program at Texas A&M. And when you get a big name coach and then you see the kind of recruiting they've done and the things they're doing to rebuild the program, it's pretty, it gets your attention.
Yeah, Bronny was out at the scrimmage.
Who does not get your attention, but
the exhibition game with UH on Friday, so we'll have him share his thoughts on what he saw from Schlossnagle and the Aggies coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. But as I mentioned, Olin's here. Jamie's in the back running the show. She will not contribute on air. That's understandable, Jamie. Her Astros won yesterday. I will not say congratulations. They're moving on to their fifth consecutive
How's your Dodgers
ALCS.
doing?
They won last night. There's going to be a decisive Game 5 on Thursday night.
Winner take all.
I'm already terrified.
You won't congratulate me.
There she is.
If y'all win tonight, I will congratulate you because I'm a good person.
She's a better person than I am.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah, obviously. She's your favorite of the two of us.
She is. I love Jamie because Jamie is one of those girls that is so cool, and she can be one of the guys, but then she can be the girl too. She's just right in there. Give you if you say something you don't like, she'll let you know in no certain terms.
Oh yeah, she's real quick to put you in your place.
We have a very similar personality, Jamie and I.
Oh, really?
Don't you think? Don't you think our personalities are similar?
No. But
okay.
I can see why your personality and Jamie's personality would get along and be friends.
Okay,
I understand that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Jamie, I can't say enough good things about Jamie Murray. She's the GOAT. She's also got Meredith and Victoria helping her in the back. So it's a girl squad.
This is the best opening to any episode of TexAgs Radio.
Why?
Ever.
Because we just love on Jamie.
Yes.
There's Elm back there.
Yeah.
And Victoria from Victoria. Yes. She's not really from Victoria.
She's not actually from Victoria.
But wouldn't it be cool if she was?
Again, it's Victoria. It's Victoria, Texas. So
What's your problem with Victoria, Texas?
Nothing.
Have you ever been there?
I do. I have an aunt and uncle that live there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cousins played football there. So
Okay.
yeah, I've been to Victoria a couple times, and then when I worked with the Bombers, there's actually
you don't like Christmas. You don't like Victoria.
I'm not saying I don't like Victoria. I was just making a little jab.
Who else do you not like?
There's nothing wrong with Victoria.
Who else do you not like?
The list is too long.
Okay.
Owen. The list is too long.
How do you feel about Gabe?
Nothing wrong with Gabe.
Victoria, Gabe. What else did I say? Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Olin,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'll go ahead and introduce the last person of our
Astros,
crew this morning.
Like
I do not like the Astros. No.
Giants.
I do not like the Giants either. Don't like the Longhorns. Don't like the Yankees. Don't like the Sooners. The list, like I said, the list goes
Dodgers?
on and on.
Do you like Anna Rosa?
I do. I was trying to introduce her, Anna Rosa Peterson, inside the News and Social Center this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing great. I was just trying to get me in trouble.
I think
keeping things light.
I think
fun.
Richard doesn't like me, but other than that, he's talking about how I talk too much and linger. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well.
I think you're just afraid of silence. I don't think you talk too much, but I think you are have a phobia of silence.
I have so much knowledge that it doesn't even seep out. It's like when you open floodgates, it just roars out.
It's banging on the door. Let me out.
So
constantly
Anna,
banging.
You were here. Obviously, you were here pre-show, and Olin was actually sharing some fashion advice, right?
No, it wasn't advice.
Some thoughts.
It was questions.
Well, he was really just attacking my outfit.
That was not
what it was.
Because I even acknowledged that it's not you. But there's this thing girls are doing where they tuck in one side of their shirt. It's like a Oxford shirt, and you tuck in one side, but leave the other out. It's like you just got out of the bathroom and hadn't gotten finished, tucking in everything.
Like?
And I just was saying, I don't get it. What's the idea behind it?
I mean, I explained it to you. If you leave it all untucked, it looks a little frumpy, but it looks a little too put together. And I like to keep things light and casual here, so that's what I was going for.
But it's not just
going
you.
Along with the fashion
that's what
trends.
I'm saying. Yeah, the trend. I just. I think it's one of those things, like I said, 20 years from now, you're looking at old pictures and say, oh, what were we thinking?
Like when you had your sideburns back in the day?
Yeah, like when I had my big urban cowboy sideburns with my pearl snap shirt. And I never had a mullet because my hair was always long all over. But, yeah.
So what you're telling me is there's pictures out there of you with, like, Cullen Gillespie length hair?
Oh, I used to have a ponytail.
Irma, if you are listening,
it was before. Remember, that was before social media.
Please find some pictures.
There are none.
There are no pictures of you with a ponytail?
No.
I find that hard to believe.
When I was in Tyler, there wasn't.
I know everybody didn't have a phone. Media. I know that
everybody didn't have a phone taking pictures with it. You had to actually go get a camera and buy film and put it in, and then take it. And then you had to take it to Photomat, which you probably don't even know what Photomat is. Or Fox Photo, and you go by and an hour later, and they have your pictures for you.
Yeah, that's
not like it is now.
That's not what I've ever had to do.
No. Everybody else remembers the Photomat.
Oh, everybody remembers the Photomat and Fox Photo. Where is this in Longview?
No, they were national.
This is a national thing.
You are the only person in this building.
Oh yeah, but okay, everybody else who isn't, what are y'all?
I'm 24.
Generation, what do y'all call it?
Generation Z?
Generation Z, I like the zombies, right?
Millennial.
Whatever you are.
We're not millennials.
Okay, if you're under maybe even 40, you don't know. But if you're over 40, you probably got a good idea about the Photomat.
And this is why hosting the show with Olin Buchanan is always great, because I'm going to learn something.
And we're going to get you through that first hour.
The first segment and the first hour is going to go by pretty quickly. I will throw it back to Anna Peterson in the News and Social Center. Anna, what are the headlines today?
We got some
Aggie
headlines for us. Two that stuck out to me were men's golf. The number 9 Texas A&M men's golf closed out the SEC Match Play Championship with a dominant 3-0 victory over South Carolina yesterday on Tuesday at the Shoal Creek Club. And then in volleyball, coming up, the team, which stands 11-5 and 4-2 in SEC play, will return to action inside Reed Arena for a midweek test against the Ole Miss Rebels, who are 12-4 and 1-4 in SEC play tonight, Wednesday night. So got to be looking forward to that. And then just want to quickly introduce our topic, which is which player on the Missouri roster worries you the most?
Yeah, we'll get into that topic on the other side. That was an excellent start to the show. Didn't really talk any sports whatsoever, but thank you to Olin for getting us through one of 4 segments here on this Go Hour.
Yeah, just lingering.
Just lingering. We're going to linger for the rest of the 8 o'clock hour as well as we go into break here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I want to remind you to go ahead and give some money to the Association of Former Students. Did you know the association is the oldest organization serving Texas
Would they
A&M
take money from me even though I'm not
of the Aggie Network? Absolutely.
Even if I'm not, I didn't go to A&M, they'll still take my money?
I think so.
Okay.
For over 140 years, financial gifts from the Aggie Network have empowered the association to be here, there, and everywhere for Texas A&M and Texas Aggies. Giving to the association is really as simple as becoming a Century Club member. For $100 a year, about $9 a month, you get the decal plaque in the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you know that you'll be continuing the oldest and most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping Aggies. I encourage you to give to the Association of Former Students, and to learn more about the impact of the association or to get involved, make a gift, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
Find out the latest contests, promotions, and events for 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Log on to thezone1150.com.
The Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce and title sponsor of the City of College Station invite you to our 2021 annual banquet at the Hilton College Station on November the 8th from 6 until 9 p.m., featuring a keynote address from Colonel Ross Gibb, Director of the Bush Combat Development Complex at Rellis. Join me, Glenn Brewer, your Chamber President, for an evening of celebration honoring our Citizen of the Year, Irma Cawley, Brazos County Commissioner, our Volunteer of the Year, Mary Mike Hatcher with Bryan Broadcasting, and your new Chamber of Commerce Board Chair, Wade Beckman, with Shipwreck Grill, Amico Nave, Third on Maid, and Admiral Catering. We will also be announcing this year's Chamber Ambassador of the Year. Join us for the Chamber of Commerce Annual Banquet on November the 8th. Tickets and table sponsorships are available. Visit bcschamber.org to reserve your spot. That's bcschamber.org.
The small Texas town of Llano is where it all began. The Wooten family created Cooper's old-time pit barbecues, mouth-watering recipes, and cowboy-style cooked barbecue. Decades later, you can still get the same great recipes, cooked exactly the same way by the same family, right here in College Station. Dine in, curbside pickup, or catered. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's old-time pit barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
When seconds matter in the game, every single decision made can mean a big win or a frustrating loss. When it comes to buying your next home and selling your existing home in the current market, every decision can mean serious money. Aggie fans, it's Dave South, and as you know, I've studied the best players and the best teams to represent our A&M family. One thing I've learned over the years, the best coaches have the respect of their team and the 12th man, you, the fans. In Bryan College Station, no realtor has more 5-star reviews on Google than Lance Lester and his team at the Lester Group. Why is that? Simple. No one offers more options that benefit you. If you want to buy your next home before you sell your current home, Lance can help you do that. If you want to know the date and price that you can count on your home selling for, Lance can guarantee it in writing. When the game is on the line, you want a leader with a proven track record calling the shots. Get your home sold faster and for the most money. Work with my friend Lance Lester and the Lester Group. Go to thelestergroup.com. That's thelestergroup.com and experience lightning in a bottle selling your home.
You can hear every Aggie football game, home, road, national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Game Day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Stephen Gustitis, attorney at law, BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, and Higginbotham Insurance. 30 minutes after every A&M home game, tune in for the Twin Peaks Call-In Show, powered by TexAgs.com.
Gotta tell you, Johnny in Dallas, a little offended that you don't think I know what a Polaroid picture is. Because I've heard the Outkast song. We're gonna shake it like a Polaroid picture, right, Anna?
You know what that means?
Yeah. So
you want to sing it for us, Richard?
So no, I'm not gonna sing. Not going to sing. So you take the picture, and it comes out of the camera. The picture immediately comes out of the camera, and if you shake it, it develops faster. But I also believe that that's a myth.
I was gonna say I've heard that
it actually hurts the camera. It hurts the picture, makes it fuzzier.
You know what? I don't think I ever did it. I think I just take a picture, and they came with this little film on top of it, so you had to peel the film off. You know Kodak?
Yes.
See, everybody, half the town of Longview worked at Kodak, worked at Eastman Kodak, so everybody knew about pictures and film and Kodak products.
So we used to have to take the picture of the disposable Kodak cameras and take them and get them developed, but we had to do it like the Walmart or the Walgreens or the CVS, something like that.
Not Photomat.
Not
Fox
a
Photo.
No, not a dedicated place to developing photos. But no, we know what the.
It was like a little kiosk in the middle of a strip mall, so you could just drive by, drop it off, go do whatever you're doing, come back and pick it up later.
Interesting.
While we're still on this topic, I want to make sure I read this text from Jeff and Leander, who says, Olin, Mabel from Kilgore, your old friend from the Rio Palm Isle, is digging through shoeboxes right now to find a picture of Olin with a ponytail. Pic developed by Fox Photo to follow soon if her granddaughter is available to help her remember how to send a text.
Mabel, good times. I remember Mabel.
That's a blast from the TexAgs
from the Rio
radio.
Palm Isle Wednesday. Mabel may not be with us anymore, actually. Mabel was a little bit older than me. So she may not be with us, but if she is, I guarantee you, she has no Polaroids of me.
I'm gonna steer it back on the tracks just a little bit. I'll leave you with one final photo thought. Lady Gaga, the creative director of Polaroid. Anna, remind us of our topic of the day, and go ahead and get a couple text messages.
We're actually going to talk sports today.
Yeah, our topic of the day is which player on the Missouri roster worries you most. And I have one text so far. The rest are just everyone's messing around about our photo talk. But Lance in Round Mountain says, the Missouri Tiger player that worries me the most this weekend is quarterback Connor Bazelak, who is quietly having a nice season in Columbia. While not a dynamic runner, Bazelak is certainly capable of hurting the Aggies defense with his arm, as he is averaging close to 300 yards passing per game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming into the season, Connor Bazelak was supposed to be the best quarterback in the SEC, and I think he's having a pretty good year. I'm not exactly sure what his numbers are, but I think that you'd have a hard argument for being better than Matt Corral in the season he's putting together.
Yeah, well, since you asked, he's completing 67.1% of his passes for 1,690 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Connor Bazelak, he had 4 touchdown passes in a game last year against LSU, that 45-41 upset. And then he kind of went downhill from there. He was inconsistent, but he's been more consistent this year. He's thrown for at least 294 yards in 4 of their games, been over 250 in 5 of them. Last week against North Texas, he only threw for 168, but they were running so well. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good passer. I don't know outside of Kiki Chisholm if he has any receivers that scare you. And I think that their next most recognizable player is their running back Tyler Batty. It may be Beatty, but I think it looks like Batty. He's been very productive. He's been over 200 yards rushing twice. Of course, once was against Central Michigan in the season opener, and once was against North Texas last week, I believe. But against SEC opponents, I think he's 2 SEC games. He's rushed for about 105 yards combined on about 35 carries. So that tells me that against SEC competition that they're having trouble run blocking, because he can obviously carry it and be productive, but it sounds like he's not getting any running lanes against Kentucky and I think Tennessee was the other team they played. Yeah, Kentucky and Tennessee.
So we've seen the Aggies give up a lot of yards through the air against Mississippi State. We have also seen them struggle against the run. So is it Bazelak's arm or Beatty's legs that scare you the most?
Yeah, I think it's Bazelak's arm. Now I still say the reason that Will Rogers was so successful, I mean, ultra successful, was because the A&M scheme was flawed. But you know, I think it tells me that if you play sound run defense against this Missouri team, that they're just not going to blow you off the line of scrimmage. And so I'm not as worried about Batty as I am Bazelak. And we saw last week what can happen if a quarterback gets hot. So you've got to make sure that you don't allow Connor Bazelak to get hot.
You mentioned it against SEC opponents, Kentucky and Tennessee. Beatty, 102 combined
102.
yards. He went over 203 yards against Central Michigan and 209 against North Texas last week. On the flip side, though, Bazelak, numbers not impressive against the Mean Green.
Well, he didn't have to be. Again, they were running so well with Batty, or Beatty, or however you say it, that I think they just weren't looking for him to throw in volume.
I mean, he still he still put it in the air 33 times and completed 66% of his passes. So
2 touchdowns.
Not a bad day.
No.
Doesn't blow you away is an incredible
but
day.
I believe they're going to have to throw a lot more against A&M. I don't think they're going to have consistent running success, and so I think that's going to put it on Bazelak, who's probably their best player. So to me, that's the guy that you should be most concerned with.
So when he does put it in the air, is it just Kiki Chisholm you need
I mean,
to worry about?
I mean, the other guys they have are obviously able, or they wouldn't be playing at this level. But I would say that I would like A&M's matchups against all their receivers, and quite frankly, even with Kiki Chisholm, if you're playing well. But this thing about this A&M team now, the whole narrative and the whole mindset and everything has changed among Aggies. Now we're talking about getting 10 wins again, right? After a week ago this time, we were saying, well, are they going to be bowl eligible? Maybe not to that degree, but there were some concerns about where the season was going. So now you've got this win over Alabama, and all of a sudden there's this rush of optimism again, and everybody's encouraged by what could happen, and it could. But you have to play with that same kind of, and Fisher talks about it, the same kind of intensity, the same kind of passion that you played with last week. And can you do it 2 weeks in a row, and especially on the road against an opponent that, you might be inclined, if you're not careful, to take it for granted, and then you don't play as well. You have to always understand that no matter who you're playing in the SEC, you're at risk of losing. And so while I do believe that A&M matches up better with their DBs against Missouri's receivers, you have to understand those guys wouldn't be playing in the SEC if they weren't capable. And so you're good. You're in good shape there as long as your DBs are playing their game and not taking, I don't want to say taking a day off, but not at peak performance.
Talk about the DBs. One of those DBs has been Antonio Johnson. We spoke to him Saturday night after the game, and then again on Monday afternoon at the weekly press conference. Do you think he's set up for yet another big game, playing that all-important nickel position, OB?
Yes, because I think he's just that good a player. He's one of those guys that, and I'm not saying he's going to have an off day, but his off day is better than a lot of guys, when they're on their game. I think they've got a special player there. I think A&M has good safeties. Jalen Jones has had some ups and downs, but you know what? I'll take him any day and take my chances with it. And I think Tyreek Chappell is actually playing a solid corner. Mm-hmm. And he's going to get beat some.
In place of Miles Jones.
And Brian
George. He's a third-string guy, and he's played well. He was I think he was our overnight sensation 2 weeks ago for what he did against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid guy, so and will only get better with each game. So I like A&M's matchups with their DBs against the receivers, as long as they understand that even if those receivers are playing on a team that's struggling, they have ability or they wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm. So I think you said it matches up well for A&M's defense. We'll flip it to the offense and defensive players from the Tigers that the Aggies need to worry about on the other side of this break.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Right now, though, it's time to take a break here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And as we do, I want to take a moment for Heritage Farms. Chance McClain at Heritage Films, yourheritagefilm.com. They truly make they'll make documentary films about you, your family. If your dad has stories you want you and your kids to know, this is the guy to call. Real documentary-style movies about your loved ones. Chance is the single most creative guy David has ever known. He's made Broadway musical. He's had movies nominated for awards and a ton of other stuff. Chance and his crew travel all over the world, do cinematic documentary film types, first-class stuff. They take about 8 to 10 weeks to finish. He's a slave to the process, and he wants to get it right. His clients are his friends. He would not advertise anywhere else. He is doing this because of our audience and his friendship with David. He's a one-guy small business. Give him your business. Visit yourheritagefilm.com or give him a call at 713-893-8341. That's yourheritagefilm.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The College Station Rotary Club invites you to Pizza with a Purpose, benefiting clothing for kids, this Sunday. Tickets include a pizza for two and a bottle of wine from Napa Flats. Find a QR code to purchase tickets on our community calendar at WTAW.com. The Navasota Theater Alliance invites you to join the interactive experience Lanterns and Legends. Take a nighttime guided tour October 21st, 22nd, or 23rd at Navasota's historic Oakland Cemetery. SHIP International invites you to their 2021 Be the Light Luncheon on Tuesday, October 26th at the Hilton. RSVP at shipinternational.org. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. 30 minutes after every A&M home football game, dial up Louie and Dusty on the Twin Peaks Call-In Show powered by TexAgs.com. Join the conversation at 979-693-1150. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
There's a Kubota for every job. There's a Kubota for every harvest. There's a Kubota for every task. And at Normandy Tractor, for a limited time only, take the drive to Normandy, Texas, and let Vernon and the boys show you what they have. Get the new Kubota BX 1880 16.6 horsepower tractor and a Kubota loader with a quick attach bucket now through December 31st, 2021. For a cash price of only $12,950, or payments as low as $170 per month. With no money down, based on 0% down, 1.99% APR for 84 months. Normandy Tractor has over 8 acres of Kubota tractors, Kubota RTVs, ATVs, and Kubota mowers to choose from. They're at the corner of Highway 39 and OSR in Normandy, Texas. And remember, nobody beats Normandy Tractor. Nobody.
Now through December 31st, 2021. For warranty terms, see Kubota's limited warranty at KubotaUSA.com or your Kubota dealer.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You can hear Astros baseball all season and postseason long on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM plus Gospel 97.3 FM. Thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. The Astros look to make another World Series run. You can hear the games on The Zone or on Gospel 97.3 FM, thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. The Houston Astros, the World Series. Listen in, all thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer.
Just introducing Olin to meme culture over here and why Lady Gaga being the creative director of Polaroid is so funny to my generation. Any comment, OB?
My Generation was a good song by The Who.
Oh, I was listening to The Who coming in.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pinball Wizard.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball.
So, Anna, do you know who The Who is?
I do not. Is
That
anyone surprised, though?
That should be an embarrassing thing to admit.
Shouldn't know who The Who is.
You know, you ever heard the Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
You heard the Beatles?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they in the same category?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
absolutely.
I guess I'm not as cultured as I'd like to think.
That's okay.
All right.
We never
It's
are.
sad. It's just your generation saddens me.
It's okay. Why? What else about my generation saddens you? Is there not enough time in
Oh,
the day?
there's
not
not.
enough. There's definitely not enough time in the go hour. But
Oh.
is there enough time in the day for you to share all of the reasons why the current generation of college students saddens you?
Mainly the expectations of getting things without having to work for it.
Okay. That's a good one. We can end there.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yes.
So, moving on, before the break, I asked you to start thinking about players on the Missouri defense that the Aggie offense should be concerned about. I mean, they have not been very good on that side of the ball. The worst team in the nation stopping the run. Any reason for the Aggies to be concerned on offense?
Always. 'Cause, again, you got to play your game. I think Trajan Jeffcoat's a guy who was an all-SEC guy last year. Of course, that's more of a no slight at Trajan Jeffcoat, but I think that's more of a indication of how blind the SEC, all-SEC voters are that left, DeMarvin Leal off. He had 6 sacks last year, 7 quarterback pressures. This year he has 1 sack. They have the Blaze Aldridge, the linebacker who I think he's a linebacker, who transferred from Rice, and he had 3.5 sacks in the first game of the year against Central Michigan. Has a half a sack since then. He's not the biggest guy, and both those guys are they're probably Missouri's 2 best defensive players, and they especially Aldridge isn't that big a guy, and I think they're both better known for the pass pressure they're able to provide.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think A&M is going to be able to run, and when you're running well, let's face it, the pass pressure slows down because you got to honor the play action as you're always going to be showing.
So you expect A&M to run well. How well will they run? And will Isaiah Spiller or Devon Achane or perhaps both get 200 yards on the ground?
Well, I don't think they'll both get 200.
You think one of them gets to 200?
I wouldn't be surprised. But, we talked about this with David earlier this year, earlier this week, a couple of years ago. Travion Williams was on way to leading the SEC in rushing. They were playing South Carolina, which was terrible against the run. He had like 80 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes the indicators don't necessarily the results aren't what the indicators project. But based on what I've seen from A&M and what I've seen from and what I know about Missouri, yes, I would be willing to make a prop bet that an A&M running back would reach 200 yards. Now, that may be up to Jimbo Fisher. Do I want to give a guy 20 carries? And maybe not.
It might not even take 20 carries to get there.
They've
been so historically bad against the run.
You might get, well, it's true because let's face it, we've seen Spiller go 50 and 60 yards. We saw him go 67 yards against Arkansas this year. So he could have a long run or two, and then it's not that hard to get there. A-Chain, we've seen what he can do. Every time he
gets the ball, he can break it.
So, I think the possibility of big plays there. And when I did see some of Missouri, they looked to me to be a little bit, I don't want to say slow, but not overly fast in the secondary. So I think if you can break into the secondary, you've got a chance to have a big play. a really big play. And on top of that, their best corner, who I think is their best corner, Enos Rakestraw, torn ACL in practice last week.
Wow.
So he's out for the year.
So that plays into the hands of the Aggie running game.
Right.
For those of you wondering, the Texas A&M record for rushing yards in a game dates back to 1950. Bob Smith ran for 297 against Southern Methodist. So not saying that Spiller or Achane or even somebody else is going to reach that level, but it's always possible. But it's possible against any opponent you play.
Yeah. If we're going all in, there was a game against LSU back in the 70s where 3 guys for A&M ran for 100 yards. Mm-hmm. And, maybe that's a prop bet. Would 3 guys rush for 100? And, I don't know if I would take that. I think I'd be more likely to say one guy would get 200. But when you're running the ball pretty well, and I know they didn't run the ball particularly well against Alabama. They ran efficiently.
They ran well enough. Right?
Yeah, it was very efficient the way they ran. But I think we've seen the ability of the running game. So, and when you're going against a team that's really struggling to run to stop the run, I think you look at it and say, okay, there's a lot of possibilities there.
Of course, this game, A&M takes on Missouri, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. That game on the SEC Network in Columbia, Como as they call it. You're headed back up there. When was the last time you've been to Faurot Field?
2013.
A&M played?
Yeah.
Well, 13 was a game. Oh, yeah, it was there.
Johnny Manziel's shoulder was still hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And so A&M got out to a lead, but they couldn't hold on to it, and they lost, I think, 28-21, breaking the hearts of everybody in South Carolina except for the Clemson fans, because had A&M won, South Carolina would have won the East.
Would have gone to the Southeast.
They would have gone to the SEC championship game to lose to Alabama.
And was that the team that Michael Sam was
Or
on?
actually, maybe they lost to Auburn that year. Yes, they lost to Auburn that year. And yes, it was Michael Sam was on that team.
Mm-hmm. I actually met him. Nice guy. Said that Johnny was a really good dude. So
okay.
And yeah. So you're headed back up there. What else?
Where'd you meet Michael Sam?
He actually spoke. The Holocaust Museum in Dallas had a speaker series where they would bring in people who have dealt with hate in their life, and Michael Sam, being an openly gay football player trying to play in the NFL, he spoke at that series. And
interesting.
We went and saw that and met him there. So
okay. Have you experienced openly hate, or do you just openly hate on your own?
I'm very
toward the Astros
hateful
and
person,
whatnot.
But yeah. That's just sports hate. When push comes to shove,
of course.
I don't like to think I hate anyone.
No, you don't. You're not a hateful guy.
So you're headed back up there.
Yes.
Good place to watch a game. Bad place to watch a game. I've never been.
Yeah, there's a place called Harpo's that's very popular to watch the game. We taunted some Ohio State fans there.
Taunting Ohio State fans.
Yeah, they were playing Michigan when we were up there in 2013, and Michigan was leading, and we started doing the Michigan held to the, what is it, the Conqueror or whatever.
The victors.
Held to the victors. And then, of course, Ohio State came back and won.
Yeah, well, if it's any time during my lifetime, there's a good chance that Ohio State.
You know what's this? Here's, not that anybody cares about this, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. I have a brother that lives in Columbia or lives near Columbia. He's a college professor at a small college in Missouri. He's a professor of philosophy, and I've seen him one time in the last 15 years. It was at my mother's funeral. And so we were making, plans to get together, and then this 11 a.m. game. So, hey, sorry, Shane, I guess we're not going to be able to hook up.
11 a.m. games, they're bad for more than just having to get up early.
No, I love them, but it's just in this one instance,
Would you rather have an 11 a.m. game or a night game?
11 a.m.
Is this so the crusty curmudgeon can get in bed early?
Part of it, but I would like to be able to. I like to have no late deadline. I would assume that since you're often having to proof my copy, edit it, I would assume that you would prefer the earlier games.
I don't
The
care.
earlier it is, the easier it makes my job.
As a fan, I understand why the night game's better and
yes,
more fun. And
if I was a fan,
as your editor, I prefer the afternoon game. Just throwing that out there, but when they win a night game in the fashion that they did on Saturday night, it doesn't matter.
If I'm a fan, I prefer the night games. But you got to remember, most of my job starts when the game is over. So then, like I got home about 2:00 last week.
2:00
a.m.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I know when you filed it was a late night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, got one more segment with Olin Buchanan. We'll close the go hour on the other side as we head into the break here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Want to go ahead and tell you about Milliken Reserve. Fall's almost here, and at Milliken Reserve, that means it's time for some pumpkin chunkin' and other fall festivities at Pumpkin Palooza. Pumpkin Palooza back again for its 9th year in the Brazos Valley. Festivities will take place across one weekend, Saturday, October the 16th and Saturday, October the 17th. Activities throughout the weekend include a Pumpkin Palooza trail run Saturday morning, Fall Harvest and Pumpkin Palooza Festival during the day on Saturday and Sunday, and the Milliken Music Festival on Saturday evening. You can purchase your tickets to all of those events at pumpkinpaloozabcs.com. Visit pumpkinpaloozabcs.com to learn more and to purchase your tickets now.
Your home for the Houston Astros is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Howdy's Pizza, BCS Tire Pros, Cotton and Oak Home and Style, Cilantro Mexican Grill, and more. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Tis time once again to set thy spirit free. Join Bud Light in a toast to the 47th Texas Renaissance Festival. Huzzah! Now open weekends through November. A land of magic and merriment, chivalry and romance, artisans and wares from distant lands, deliciously enticing food, games of skill and chance, plus the finest actors and musicians in the realm. The King and Queen await your arrival. Tickets available at TexRenFest.com.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Good morning. This is Pastor Jennifer of First United Methodist Church, Bryan, sharing a word of hope for your day. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. I love the words of Ruth, a dear family member and friend to Naomi. It's so valuable to have a spouse, partner, or friend who will stay by your side at all times. Ruth and Naomi were in desperate need of healing, a home, and hope. What they had at the moment was each other. By clinging to one another, they made it through the most challenging times of their lives. What are you going through, and who is in your life? Don't be afraid to work together, pray together, and lean on one another when life gets challenging. You will be surprised at the strength that you bring to any situation. This is Hope for Your Day from First United Methodist Church, Bryan. Come and see us on Sundays at 506 East 28th Street, downtown Bryan, directly behind BB&T on Texas Avenue. Our Contemporary Awakening service is at 9 a.m., and our traditional and Spanish services are at 11 a.m. Everyone is welcome.
On Sports Talk, Chip visited with Robert Earl Keene about his place as a Texas music icon.
There's a lot of great people in Texas music, so I wouldn't want to just stand up there and say, look at me. I'm just saying that for me, it's a serious source of pride.
Sports Talk, legendary guests weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Final segment of the Go Hour here. Richard Zane and Olin Buchanan inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. You're listening to TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We'll go ahead and throw it to the News and Social Center with Anna Peterson for a check of the A&B text line. Anna.
And a quick reminder of our topic, which player on the Missouri roster worries you the most? Haruna in College Station says the Aggies play a Missouri team committed to throwing the ball like Mississippi State. D-line pressure is the key to stopping them and running the ball. And Cameron in Baton Rouge says, Missouri looks great, wonderful, like the most delicious morsel of cheese laced with rat poison. It's the poison I'm most afraid of, not any part or player of the cheese.
And Anna, why don't we go ahead and get that last one that just came in from Dave in Tampa as Olin's on his way out.
Yeah, he says, hearing Olin reminisce about the good old days in, East Texas is a hoot. My girlfriend is from Canton, so I wonder if Olin has any good Canton stories.
We don't have enough time.
Don't have enough time to talk about Canton, Texas.
Yeah, Canton. First Monday trades days. Every Monday, go out there. The largest flea market in the world. I've been to Canton several times. By the way, our faithful listener Bill texted me to say that it was Elton John with the Pinball Wizard, and that's true because Elton John covered the song for the movie Tommy, but the original by The Who.
Yeah, the album, right? They made it's like a storybook album, right?
Right.
Tommy, and then they made the movie and then the musical.
Right.
Yeah. So, and he's saying that Elton John did it for the movie.
I'm telling him Elton John did it for the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that. I've only heard the Who's version. So.
Yeah, the Elton John version is actually really good. Canton, I'm pro Canton. Let's just say now. Here's a story involving Canton. I wasn't there, but do you remember about 10 years ago? Their high school football coach, got shot by the parent of one of the players because he wasn't playing his kid enough.
This is the most East Texas story I've ever heard. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, it really happened. I think his son, the coach's son, who was playing quarterback, I might have that wrong, was a quarterback that played at like Tulsa. But the guy was mad because his son wasn't getting to play enough. And so he came in, they got into an argument, and he shot the coach. Coach survived.
Okay.
G.J. Kinney,
Good.
I think.
Glad
I think
to
his
hear
name was
that.
Kenny. I think.
Canton. It's a wild story.
Had a big tornado
Canton,
there
Texas.
not long ago.
You just know everything about Canton, Texas, huh?
I've had some moments in Canton. I've been all over East Texas.
Maybe one day you and Dave can hang out and share Canton stories. So, Olin, before we let you go, up to the second college football, episode 7 comes out today around 5 o'clock. Of course, that's David Nuno's national show where we look at the biggest games around the country, not just the Aggies. You made an appearance this week. So can you give us a sneak peek of what that conversation's like?
Well, we just talked about the game against Alabama and, the Aggies moving forward. And I think we might have even talked about Jimbo Fisher's contract and how maybe some of the national media will stop focusing so much on that. It's not like a lot of coaches don't make a lot of money, even though Dennis Dodge from CBS in his latest report still had to, bring up the contract.
So I think Jimbo Fisher's made a lot of money. I also would assume that Spencer Rattler's made a little bit of money.
Yeah, and I think,
I think Jimbo's is warranted.
I've heard some stories about Spencer Rattler lately.
What kind of stories?
That he might not be the nicest fella.
I mean, I saw.
He looked like he looked like he was frustrated. I'll put it that way: frustrated that his backup had so much success. It's going to be really interesting to see who Lincoln Riley goes with this week as a starting quarterback.
Who do you think it'll be?
If it was me, I'd go with Williams. I mean, the way he played, I'm going to bring a guy in, let him play like that against my arch rival, and then bench him.
I mean, it's crazy to think that we're talking about Spencer Rattler being benched now for a second time, considering he was the preseason Heisman frontrunner, right?
Yep.
Not even on your Heisman ballot right now, according to Around College Football that went out yesterday.
Nope. Not even there.
That's wild.
And why should he be? He hasn't had a Heisman-type season.
No, I completely agree that he shouldn't be there. But
if any team in the college football,
impressive.
If any team in college football is living a lie, it's Oklahoma. I mean, they're saying that they're the 4th best team, and I think they're ranked 4th. Texas had a big lead. Just give the ball to Bijan Robinson the rest of the game. Work clock and first downs. They survived West Virginia because of a West Virginia bad snap. Survived Tulane. Again, they're living a lie. There's no way it's the 4th best team.
They got TCU this weekend in Norman. TCU's not great, but they've given some teams some fits, including the Texas Longhorns. But looking at the schedule, is there a game that Oklahoma loses until they get to Bedlam?
Maybe not. Baylor's playing pretty well. Anybody that's playing decent football, I think, has a chance to beat Oklahoma. I'd still take Oklahoma, but that's one of those teams where you look at it and you say, I know they're unbeaten, but I'm just not impressed.
No, I agree. I don't think they're the fourth best team in the country. That's for sure. They've done nothing to impress me.
But of course, the Oklahoma always gets a break, and I'm sure they'll continue. Their strength of schedule and their performance will not be factored in at the end of the year when they get into the playoffs.
So if you have to call your shot right now on October the 13th, does Oklahoma get in the playoff?
Yeah, probably. Again, they always get every kind of break. If you'll look over from the BCS, no team has benefited more from selection committees than Oklahoma. And who's in the SEC? I mean, in the Big 12, it's really a weak conference. So if you can't win it, but one win should knock you out. But one loss, I should say. But I don't see who you look at and say, okay, they're going to beat Oklahoma.
Olin, I appreciate you helping me kill
Told
an hour this morning.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you so much. We've got Chris Landry from LandryFootball.com coming up. We'll go around the association with Randy Reyes. We'll talk to Etheridge Davis and then G. Guerreri, all coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Excuse me. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, right here on The Zone.
Requested. Compare our quality, and you'll soon have Burris windows installed by Intercon in your home too.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Listen to Louis Bellina, Chip Howard, TexAgs Radio, or Paul Feinbaum. Do it on your smart speaker. Just say play Zone 1150 now. This is KCNE College Station Bryan, Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. The number of active coronavirus cases in Brazos County falls below 2,000 for the first time in 20 days. The health district reports 1,731. More information is at brazoshealth.org. Tomorrow is the last day Brazos County residents affected by the pandemic can apply for grant money to pay for rent and utilities. County Judge Dwayne Peters stated in a news release that the state has more resources to help more people with greater efficiency. Commissioners accepted a $6.9 million federal grant and hired the Brazos Valley Council of Governments as the administrator. At the end of September, an undisclosed number of recipients received more than $2 million, and the county had until the end of next year to distribute the remainder of the money. The president of the Bryan Firefighters Association spoke at last night's city council meeting before the council unanimously approved their annual agreement. Daniel Buford says they have issues to discuss for the next agreement.
We have a lot of public safety concerns that we need to address as far as retention, staffing, benefits.
The agreement approved last night without discussion included giving the new fire chief authority to create the position of deputy chief and appoint 2 assistant chiefs. Bryan police arrest a suspect in a recent convenience store armed robbery with the help of surveillance video.
According to the BPD arrest report, witnesses near the Valero at South College in Carson said the suspect ran towards Williamson Skate Park. That led the BPD detective to checking video from cameras at the park, where he saw the suspect get a phone from one of the skaters and make a call. Another detective found the skater and got the phone number of the call. That led to getting the home address of the person being called and finding the suspect. 27-year-old Daryl McCoy, Bryan, was arrested for the September 28th holdup where the store clerk was not injured and an undisclosed amount of money was taken at gunpoint. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
And I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie sports group online, and thanks to that passionate community, we've been able to grow it into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's, award-winning video content, and the most reliable insider information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out. Become a premium subscriber at texags.com/subscribe.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. 21st ranked Texas A&M football is riding high following a thrilling 41-38 win over top-ranked Alabama last Saturday. Coach Jimbo Fisher admits it was a big victory, but says now it's on to Mizzou.
This game's over with. Tired of talking about it. It's over. I understand why we had success. Now, these things, the lessons we've learned, they're wasted lessons unless we carry them on to this week. Missouri is a very tough place to play. They're an outstanding opponent. And what they do, they play very good at their place. They're a different, they play really well at home. Always have. You're up there at an 11 o'clock game in the morning. You have to get going. Very good. And early in the game, they're going to be right there ready for us, waiting for us to knock us off. And like I say, right now, this is the perfect thing, as Nick said last game. This is a trap game.
Jimbo and the guys look to keep the good times rolling this Saturday when they visit Missouri and Columbia. Now, to hear more from Coach, tune into the Jimbo Fisher Coaches Show tonight from 8 to 9 on 1620, 94.5 WTAW. Aggie volleyball returns to action this evening as it welcomes Ole Miss to town. First serve against the Lady Rebs is at 7 p.m. at Reed Arena. And 9th-ranked Aggie men's golf wrapped up the SEC Match Play Championship yesterday with a dominant 3-0 victory over South Carolina at the Shoal Creek Club. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Is down, it is up, and the fight Texas Aggies take down the top-ranked Tide 41-38. Number one goes down.
Join us Saturday. The Aggies visit the Missouri Tigers. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 a.m. and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
.05 here on a Wednesday morning. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here on the Zone. Richard Zane inside the Rollo Insurance Studio, and right now it's time to go out to the BCS Eye Associates video hotline. Give Dr. K a call, 979-6931. Give Dr. K a call. The BCS Eye Associates hotline right now. Time to check in with Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com. And Chris, I'm here because David spent Saturday celebrating and has no voice whatsoever. What a night it was in Aggieland.
Yeah, it was. It was certainly, the scene was good. And, you know, I think for people who don't know, I think most people know that the Aggie fans are a special group and a passionate group, and they're, you know, they just fill out and show out all the time. And the nation got to see it in a stage that all the eyes in a great day of college football. What a way to end it, with a game that I'm sure CBS was excited that it was a game, because last week at this time, I was struggling to sell this as a game that was going to be really exciting. And I was just glad to see that this game was competitive to begin with. And I thought A&M had a great game plan. And, you know, it's one of the things, Richard, is you get this a lot, and I think it's due to the playoffs and how this team looks week 1, week 2. I always say this. I have a saying, you never stay the same. As a player, team, coach, scheme, you never stay the same. You either get better or you get worse. And one of the things that I thought they did a tremendous job, the coaching staff did, they were very aggressive. It was almost as if, hey, nothing to lose. And, of course, there's always something to lose, but there's not a lot of expectations outside, so we're going to be aggressive. They made some substantive changes to what they did and how they did it. But, it's the big thing is it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. And when you're struggling with something, maybe week 1 or week 2, it comes a little bit better week 3 or week 4. It's one of the things I've learned a lot in the NFL in my time, and I see it in college too, is that teams are going to be different in November because you build on one practice versus another versus another versus another. What's common sense, you should be a whole lot better in November than you are in September. Why? Well, you've got a lot more practices to build up into it. Now, there's circumstances that would change that, like injuries, particularly catastrophic ones. But I thought a couple of things. I thought they did a good job moving the pocket with Calzada, getting the ball out quickly. They did a really good job, I thought, with some adjustments on their offensive line, just with their personnel and helping them. But also they're doing a better job with their angle blocking and their insertion, which really caused a lot of problems. They caught Alabama in some run blitzes, and the backs ran hard, but with greater run creases than they've had before. And so it was a really good performance. I thought defensively, they increased their pressure. I think they went in with the idea that Bama's tackles could be beaten, particularly Chris Owens. So they really unleashed the defensive ends upfield, and it caused a great deal of problems for Alabama, caused a lot of their false starts. The ball came out a little quicker. I think it contributed to some of the timing issues that may have contributed to some of the drops and a mistake in the red zone. I think all those were pressure induced and schematically induced. Really good job. The blitz package was a little bit more aggressive, evolved, and I thought changing the launch points of the insertions of it had a great deal of an impact. So they really kept Alabama off their heels quite a bit. But with all that said, Alabama defensively did a tremendous job at halftime, shut down A&M the entire second half. And I'm thinking, okay, this has been a great game. This is going to be a tough loss for A&M because they just spilled everything out there. And then yet they couldn't quite close the door. And Bama comes back, takes it over. And then an offense and a quarterback that I really kind of thought earned a lot of people's respect nationally. And certainly it should be for the Aggie fans. The toughness of Calzada. They got off the mat and they needed a few big plays towards the end to win it. And, really, really impressed. It's what you teach and what you want as a coach. It's not about playing perfect. You never can play perfect. You try to achieve it, but it's how you come back from adversity that's the key. So anyway, going on and on, but it was really, really impressive to see what they were able to do. And quite frankly, how they were able to outplay Alabama for much of the game. And even when they were outplayed themselves, they found a way to come back and finish. Pretty impressed by it.
I know I've told you off air that I love listening to you talk about football. I feel like I learned so much. So never apologize for going on and on and on. I thoroughly enjoy that, Chris. You mentioned Calzada getting off the mat, making plays when he needed to, and earning the respect, and cementing himself as a Texas A&M legend for one game. What was different about his game?
It's not. What's different is what we talked about is, okay, there are some things they did to simplify it. Move the pocket. The ball came out quicker. Now, when you do that, well, why didn't you do that before? Well, when you do that, you limit yourself working the entire field because you basically got half field reads, and so it's sometimes tighter windows, but you work through different things. I think the thing, Richard, that people miss is that they, in this world of immediate impact, everybody makes a definitive decision on a team or a player or a coach week to week. Well, of course, the biggest difference is that he's not making his first start or his second start. He's getting more and more reps. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to play as well every week. On the contrary, people are going to throw different things at him. He's going to have to adjust. He'll make mistakes. But what you've got, I think, is a guy that can respond to that. What was different was how they played him, but how he was able to react to it. He was more comfortable. He was more aggressive. I think there's some things from a technique standpoint, ball placement, but those are things that you can work through that sometimes you get a little sloppy with. The confidence was increased by what they put him in, but it was just in a situation where he's had more reps. Of course, you're not going to be as good at any position. You're not going to be as good at anything the first time you do it or the second time you do it as you will when you get multiple times. I think we tend to look at that and say, that's what a guy is. I saw him week 3 or week 2 or week 1. That's not what somebody is. It's a constant evolving. Sometimes it evolves negatively. Sometimes it evolves positively. You see that a lot. But so, my takeaway is, look, that's what they did with him. That's how he's grown. Now let's see what happens, because I know probably the narrative has changed, right? It was last week. It was, paid this coach all this money and his team's not any good. And
the sky is falling.
Yeah, his sky is falling. And look, I said it last couple. I didn't think this was a sure bet. Hey, this is the second best team in the West type, team that maybe other people thought, but I didn't expect them necessarily to lose to Arkansas and Mississippi State either. So they were not quite as good as I thought, even though I didn't have them maybe like other people did, but because you don't know, and you don't know till you see it. But now it's about how do you deal with it, because the circumstances are different. It doesn't mean everybody will say, well, they figured it out now. Trust me. In almost 38 years in football, you never figure out anything. It's a constant evolving and learning. So it's what you deal with it. Kind of like from Alabama's standpoint, they're thinking, how could we lose to that team that was lucky to beat Colorado? That's their narrative. Well, the difference is you do things differently. You get better than you were against Colorado. And then if you're Alabama, you don't really adjust to what they did as well. And that game, I thought it was a chess match. First half of that game was tremendous. I thought Jimbo, they changed an awful lot in every series. And I thought Alabama changed their look defensively, and it was a chess match. Then once it got to halftime, you saw Alabama really was able to really slow that down and cause A&M some trouble. So there were some points in the game. As great as a win as it is, you can't ask for anything more than beating the number 1 team in the country. But there's still some areas where you can get better. And if you don't play with the same energy, if you don't practice with the same energy, if you don't continue to get better, well, then, yeah, there are other landmines on the schedule, just like no one expected, A&M to beat Alabama. That could happen again. So, look, I think that it is a perfect lesson about football. You never figure it out. It's a constant growth, situation from a coaching standpoint. And it's about learning your team. I thought they learned a lot about their team, and I'm curious to see how they handle the success now after maybe being a little bit, feeling down and out, or at least a lot of people were down and out on them last couple of weeks.
I mean, you mentioned having to, lost my train of thought, having to make adjustments and having to deal with those adjustments. Also, now I know where I'm going. You said that you have to fix things. A&M wins the game, but there's still things to fix. Jimbo Fisher mentioned that in his press conference on Monday. What did you see from the Aggies? Kind of a few red flags that says they're still vulnerable, still things they need to correct moving forward.
Well, I mean, a lot of, again, what the game plan was really, really good. And what they put together against Alabama was what we call unscouted looks. There were things on the offensive line that they were doing personnel-wise and schematically that were a little bit different, that Alabama couldn't scout because they weren't there on film, hadn't done them. It took a little while, normally what happens is, okay, we're not seeing that. So you go to the sideline and you try to figure things out, try to get feedback from the players, from upstairs. And it was a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit of cat and mouse. Now, once Alabama was able to figure it out, you saw the offense get stymied a little bit. So those are things that now that you got that on film, what can you do alternatively to continue to grow? So obviously, as I said, well, moving the pocket worked great. Let's do that all the time. Well, when you do that, There's a formula for that too. So it's going to be about you work some of that, but then you're going to have to become a little bit better in the pocket when you're not able to, because if everything is rollout, then what you can consistently do is defensively, you become a little bit easier to defend with just half field reads. But sometimes it can help the running game. So what you got to do is mix things up a little bit more, and then you've got to really have a little bit more that you can build in. But the point I'm kind of making overall is you have to have it doesn't matter what you run. The playbook is yay thick, and for those that are not watching on TV, it's just it's a mound of, it's in computers now, but it is so thick. It doesn't matter how much you got in there. It's how much the players can handle. And so the further you get along, offensive line, receivers, I thought the receivers did a better job with stemming their routes. All of those things together is as a coach you try to do to get a little bit better so that you can do more. The old saying, it's just like anybody working in you give somebody a job in the mailroom. They do that well. You give them a little more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Coaching and players are the same thing. There's certain much they can handle, and you're only as good as what your weakest link can handle. If your quarterback can handle it, but maybe your receivers are not reading the coverages the same way, or the protections can't hold up, you want to go downfield a little bit more. But if you can't pass protect, if you can't get off, you can't stem your routes, then the deep routes are not going to be as effective. So you've got to work all those individual things to be able to pull it all together. And I think a lot of those things can be improved upon, just like anybody can improve upon it. So I just caution everyone that because everybody thinks, well, now they figured it out to beat the number one team. The rest is just great. I mean, they're going to be, if they play well and if they continue to get better, their chances are really good in the rest of their schedule. I mean, they've got two teams that are absolutely two teams they should beat, and then go into a bye week, and then an Auburn Ole Miss stretch. They've got a chance to finish off really strong, but there's a difference between trying to get what they've got done here the last couple of weeks in preparation. It's a lot different than having to do it week 1 and week 2 when you don't have the buildup of all the practices and reps and games that allow you to do some of the things that you were able to do. The other things is some of the things they weren't doing real well, that they really were repping well in practice and they weren't in games, they had to scrap some of that on the offensive line and do some things differently. So that's just the world of coaching, my friend.
Absolutely. And we heard Jimbo Fisher on Monday say it was a great win, but he's tired of talking about it. It's time to move on.
Good.
A Missouri team that's capable, got one of the better quarterbacks in the country in Connor Bazelak. They'll face them this weekend. Chris, appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. As you do every Wednesday morning, share your scouting report, what you saw from the Aggies. Thanks so much, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Rich. Appreciate you having me. Take care.
Yes, we'll talk to him next week. Before we head to break right now, I want to remind you that we've got Around the Association coming up next. Randy Reyes will join us in studio. But right now, it's time to remind you about the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggie Land Outfitters. Text RADIO, that's RADIO, to a new number, 1-833-638-6248. I'll go ahead and give that to you again just in case you didn't get it. 1-833-638-6248. That'll enter you to win the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of Aggie Land Outfitters. This week, it's a white hoodie. It's got Aggies and the block TAM across the chest. We'll go ahead and unveil the winner of the Big Friday giveaway during the 10 o'clock hour of the show on Friday morning. Hopefully David will be back for that. Right now it's time to take another break here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is The Zone, Aggieland's all-sports station.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! Get ready, Brazos Valley, for the Brazos Valley Fair's kickoff weekend tractor pull. Sunday, October 17th, the Brazos County Expo is going to explode with smoke, speed, noise, and power. Experience thunder in the dirt with action-packed family entertainment, including high-powered tractors, four-wheel drive trucks, and semis. Tickets are only $20 for adults, and kids 5 and under are free. Purchase your tickets online at BrazosValleyFair.com or at the gate. That's Sunday, October 17th at the Brazos County Expo.
Finding the places in life that give you joy is what Toyota is all about. Is your idea of fun filled with adventures? Like mountain biking with your good buddies. Toyota has SUVs like RAV4 and Highlander, ready to take you wherever that next adventure lies. Or maybe one of our sporty, stylish sedans, like a Camry or Corolla, to get you anywhere in style.
And we're here.
Oh, I love the theater.
Try to not fall asleep this time.
What? Me? Or maybe your happy place is in the great outdoors, and Toyota trucks can take you camping, fishing,
Got one.
or whatever you love doing. Dependable Tundra and Tacoma are built to get you to the middle of nowhere and back.
Throw another log on there.
That's providing you want to come back. So no matter where you find your joy, Toyota has vehicles ready to take you there. Visit your local Toyota dealer or go to buyatoyota.com for great deals on amazing Toyota vehicles. So whatever you're into, Toyota can get you there in style. Toyota, let's go places.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BUY for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Key, I heard you tried out for the NHL since it's back on ESPN. Is this true?
Yes, I did. They had me try out in the middle of the night the other night. I didn't tell anybody, though. I just figured, why not? You know, maybe I'll go out and throw the first puck out or something one day or whatever. Or is it drop the puck? Which one is it?
Throw the puck out? What do you think? That's a puck toss.
Yeah, toss. Drop the puck.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Welcome back. It's 9:24 here on a Wednesday morning. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Richard Zane, joined by Randy Reyes of the Association inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. And it is indeed time to go around the association. And Randy, you were telling me off air, donations actually pick up, obviously, after a big win like what we saw on Saturday
They do,
night.
yeah. Everyone's excited. We are too. We all watched the game, and everyone just is celebrating, and everyone celebrates their own way. Some people celebrate by donating, which we appreciate. We have no issues with that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're listening right now, go ahead and make a donation to the Association of Former Students. Randy, right now, Jimbo said he's tired of talking about the Alabama game, so let's talk about what's next for the association. That begins with this weekend in Columbia, Missouri, away game yell practice, and the All-Aggie tailgate.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to keep the momentum going. The fall continues to be busy for us. So, yeah, we'll jump into to yell practice and All-Aggie tailgate this weekend. We're going to be out in Missouri. Yell practice, obviously, on Friday. Now, one distinction, and I've read the boards, and I know people have commented, but yell practice is at 10 p.m., so it's not midnight yell practice, but it's yell practice. And the reason we did that, talking to the yell leaders and just from experience in the past, we want to make sure that we get as many Aggies out there with their families. I know some kids tend to go to sleep a little early, and so we set it up at 10 with the yell leaders just to make sure that everyone has a good time out there. And so we'll be at Logboat Brewing Company out there in Columbia. So be sure to get there early, yell loud, and it'll be a lot of fun that night.
And then the next morning, the game's at 11 a.m. at Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. But before that, hang out with some Aggies at the All-Aggie tailgate, right?
For sure, yeah. Free tailgate. All we ask is that people register. We got free drinks, free food. We have a lot of sponsors, Slovacic, Sign Pro, Tough Shirts that help us out to make that possible. But it is a shorter tailgate than normal. It's about 2 hours, so it goes from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. With the game started at 11, we want to make sure that we get everyone filled up with food and drinks to get them out to the game so they can yell on the Aggies. But yeah, just what we ask is to make sure register tx.ag/register Missouri. And what that'll do is it'll get you there. You'll check in, you'll get a wristband, and that wristband gets you access to all that food and drinks.
That link one more time, tx.ag/register Missouri to partake in the All Aggie Tailgate in Columbia this weekend. Next weekend, the Aggies are back in town. They'll face South Carolina. And this actually interests me. It sounds right up my alley. Young Alumni Weekend.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited about this one. So the 23rd, we're playing South Carolina. We're going to host Young Alumni Weekend. And so what that is the classes who have graduated in the last 10 years, we host one big reunion for them. But this one's going to be pretty special. We've actually partnered with Game Day Vodka on this to try to blow this thing out. So DJs, bars, there's going to be a specialty cocktail that Game Day is putting together for us. We've got games, cornhole, Jenga, Connect Four, free 12th man towels. I mean, we're going all out for this. Door prizes, actually, I think some of the cornhole boards that are going to be out there will be given away to some Aggies to take home with them. So we're really excited about that. $20 for tickets, but that's going to give you access to all the food and drink, sausage. We're going to have Game Day vodka cocktails. We're going to have other kinds of drinks, beers, seltzers. It's going to be a blast. And so we're excited. We have some other sponsors as well, Slovacic's, City Orchard Cider, Messina Hoff. So we're going to have, I'll be honest, we're going to have a drink for pretty much anyone's taste there that day.
And $20 for all you can eat, food and drink. That's, sure. I mean, that's a heck of a value.
And giveaways and a good time. So y'all need to make sure you register tx.ag/yaw, that's YAW, to get your tickets, $20, and it's 3 to 6 p.m. So you get you there again, food and drink, and then hit the game afterwards.
And for those who do end up attending the Young Alumni Tailgate, where will this tailgate be?
Yeah, so obviously with Aggie Park construction going on, we had to move a little bit. So we're going to be at the corner of Wellborn and George Bush, basically right behind the practice fields, which is still a prime spot. You'll see the big association tent out there with a ring on it. But yeah, just make sure you register. It's going to be a great time for all.
Just look for that big ring logo.
Yeah. Well, actually, right? you need to head out there and do one of your video.
Oh, you want
gigs.
A night before
out
there?
We'll do a day of. Yeah, we do
sounds
a day
fun.
of. I think we can make that happen.
Absolutely. And I mean, also moving forward from football stuff, you've got Pass It Back Day coming up.
For sure, yeah. So we're excited. Pass It Back Day is our 24-hour day of giving. So it's our sixth annual day. Really, it's just to show the power of the Aggie Network. We encourage everyone to think about the things that the association does to make an impact on Aggies. And we ask them to just donate a little bit. And so that day, November 9th, is coming. We'll put more details out soon. As a matter of fact, David and I had a conversation, and we're going to have TexAgs Radio involved with that a little bit that morning. So just keep your eyes out for more details, but save the date, November 9th. It's a Tuesday coming up here.
As Billy Lucci would say, stay tuned for more information.
For sure.
And then, of course, if you like hanging out with Randy on the radios on Wednesday mornings, maybe apply for a job at the Association of Former Students.
Yeah, as always, and we've plugged these a few times, we have a few job openings available at the association. And listen, we do really good work at the association. Can't tell you how many Aggies we've been able to talk to and thanked and everything for everything that they do. But if you love to travel, we have a position for you. If you love dealing with students, there's a campus programs position open. And then we're really looking hard for somebody to help us with our website. Mm-hmm. So if you know anybody out there that has web experience, hit us up. We're looking for some applicants, but tx.ag/association jobs is where you find those.
Anything else, Randy?
I just, again, just thanking everybody, thanking everyone for all that they do for the Aggie Network through the association. Without the support of Aggies, we wouldn't be able to do everything that we do. So big thanks to everyone out there.
Randy, thanks for joining us, taking the time here on this Wednesday morning, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Right now, we'll go ahead and take a break here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. When we come back, we'll have the viral star, Etheridge Davis, WQAD weather person, on the other side. Don't want to miss this. We'll be back in just a few on The Zone.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The College Station Rotary Club invites you to Pizza with a Purpose, benefiting clothing for kids this Sunday. Tickets include a pizza for two and a bottle of wine from Napa Flats. Find a QR code to purchase tickets on our community calendar at WTAW.com. The Navasota Theater Alliance invites you to join the interactive experience Lanterns and Legends. Take a nighttime guided tour October 21st, 22nd, or 23rd at Navasota's historic Oakland Cemetery. SHIP International invites you to their 2021 Be the Light Luncheon on Tuesday, October 26th at the Hilton. RSVP at shipinternational.org. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. 30 minutes after every A&M home football game, dial up Louie and Dusty on the Twin Peaks Call-In Show powered by TexAgs.com. Join the conversation at 979-693-1150. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
This is Aaron Dawson.
And I'm Olivia Dawson.
Won't you join the Folds of Honor in Allen Academy by supporting the annual Cadet Golf Classic and Patriot Dinner hosted at Miramont Country Club, Sunday, October 17th through Tuesday, October 19th.
The Cadet Golf Classic is an 18th-hole, four-man scramble designed to raise scholarship funds for the families of fallen and disabled veterans through Folds of Honor, as well as financially supporting Allen Academy, an independent school in Bryan.
For more info or to register, please visit thecadet.org, and thank you for your support.
The small Texas town of Llano is where it all began. The Wooten family created Cooper's old-time pit barbecues, mouth-watering recipes, and cowboy-style cooked barbecue. Decades later, you can still get the same great recipes, cooked exactly the same way by the same family, right here in College Station. Dine in, curbside pickup, or catered. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's old-time pit barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
You can hear every Aggie football game, home,